Hello and welcome to AWS Repost Live, the companion live stream for repost.aws, where we address questions from the Repost community and help you build with AWS services. My name is Anup Shivadas. I'm a principal solutions architect here at AWS, and I'm joining from Washington, D.C., where it's fully covered in snow, still not melting. But today we have a very interesting topic, and we're going to dive deep into modernizing your Spark environment in minutes with generative AI. Pretty interesting topic. And to help me drive this discussion, I have Mohammed and Ishan from our AWS support engineering team. So, Mohammed, why don't you intro yourself first?
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me on this show. I'm glad to be here. So my name is Mohammed Sabil, and I'm a senior technical account manager here at AWS. Been working for AWS for 5 years. I'm based out of Mountain View, California.
Thank you,
Hi
Mohammed.
everyone.
Subject matter expert for AWS Group. Sorry.
Awesome.
Hi everyone. This is Ishan. I'm a principal cloud support engineer here at AWS Support. I help our customers to build data integration pipelines and help with their data processing use cases, be it using AWS Glue, SageMaker Unified Studio, or Athena, etc. And glad to be here today.
That is awesome. Thank you, Mohammed and Ishan, for joining the show. Really glad to have you on the show here. So before we dive deep and jump into the content today, in the chat, please let us know where you're joining us from. We get audience from across the globe, so let us know your location, shout out your location, like to say hi. And if you haven't used Repost yet, head over to repost.aws, sign up using your AWS account ID or builder ID. There is a lot of cool things that's going on Repost. You can ask questions, you can read articles, you can join communities. There is a lot of goodness within Repost. And throughout the show, if you have questions on the topic today, which is modernizing your Spark environments in minutes, you can ask questions throughout the show as well, and we'll be able to answer those things for you pretty seamlessly. So that's about Repost. So head over to repost.aws and sign up using your AWS account ID or builder ID to get started. So Mohammed and Ishan, so we have a very interesting topic, right? So, upgrading your glue jobs for Spark and whatnot. It was pretty manual before, errors and all those things happens with customers, right? They get into trouble doing upgrades and whatnot. It's a common theme across the board. Now, today we're going to talk about how do you do this with everything that's happening with generative AI, right? So I think that's what we are going to talk about. Well, so let's get started. What do you have in mind to get started with?
Yeah, so whenever you're ready, let's bring my screen up. And I want to show you some of the repost, the questions that users actually post. And like you said, repost is one of the best areas where you can, any users, they want to ask any questions, they can reach out to us. We have a lot of experts sitting here to help them. And some of the questions that a lot of users they ask is regarding the Glue upgrades, right? AWS Glue upgrade problems. And I would like to share some details with you. Like, for example, in this repost, if you're looking at my screen, you'll see like there were some questions asked regarding upgrade issues from 3.4 to 4.0, and most of them related to the configurations. And then we have some questions asked, jobs failing after the job upgrade. Could be related to anything. It could be related to the code issues or configuration issues or the module compatibility issues. Right?
Yeah.
Similarly, we have one more repost which I want to share with you. There were some configuration, the code changes, external libraries, which are not being, before you upgrade, you need to take care of all those dependencies, right? When you don't take care of those dependencies, it will be a problem. Now, historical context, right? When traditionally, in the absence of the feature that we're going to talk about, basically a solution to the problem with any upgrade related issues with AWS Glue, the data engineers or developers, they may be assigned to task like, hey, let's have all the Glue jobs to migrate to the latest version because the latest version has many of the bug fixes and many features included. So the team, as a data engineer, right? If I'm considering myself as a data engineer, I'll have to spend time to understand the code. In the real world example, you'll have thousands of lines of code. You need to also understand the release notes, not just the main ones, but also going down to the undocumented breaking changes that always surprises you after you upgrade, right? And even if you make all those changes and looking at the code and script and configurations and updating the dependencies, you will always sometimes, it's not 100% that the upgrade jobs will succeed, and there will
Yeah.
be some errors, and then you have to go back and fix them and come back again, right? So
Yeah.
there's always room for errors when you're doing a manual work. So in reality, like what supposed to be a very simple or day long upgrade activity, it takes a lot of time and a lot of engineering hours and cost in order to fix that. So those days are over now. We have this feature called as the generative AI upgrades for Apache Spark in AWS Glue. So Apache Spark, Glue is just, it's like a wrapper around Spark. So
Yeah.
every upgrade will have a latest version of Spark. So this feature will actually help in addressing all the issues that I talked about, where even though you use generative AI to make all the doing the differences and checking the codes, you will have control to actually make a decision of going ahead with the upgrade or not. And I'm going to demonstrate you in some time. I have my AWS environment here, and I can actually show you how it is done in
That
real
is
time.
awesome. So I saw, I think, Mohammed, you pulled up the page where it's in preview. So customers can just onboard to it in certain regions, and then they can start looking at it in the lower environments like development environment or staging or whatever it is, right?
Yes, now it is already available. You can actually go back and play around and switch to your Glue jobs in any environment. So there are the documentations which I can share at the end. You'll find availability in regions and all the details that is required for you to start.
That is awesome.
All right. Just a quick one, Sabil. So at Amazon, as we understand, we always work backwards from our customers. So before you dive deep into the demo, I just wanted to ask one thing. Like, can we set some sort of a context for our customers who are viewing this? Like, what customer problem have we solved with this capability? What's launched already?
Yeah, so the customer problem that we solved is the massive operational burden of a Glue job, right? During the upgrade activity. So initially, it was taking a lot of time earlier in the absence of this feature, with multiple iterations of failover, test and cycles, and then in each test, you're basically revealing a new problem, depending on the complexity of the job. So we are solving that operation overhead, creating that whatever the endless debugging loops that the team involved in get into, we are actually eliminating that, and we are reducing the time to market. So that's
Got it.
basically what we are solving in here.
Thank you. Yeah, let's dive into the demo.
Okay. Yeah. If there's any other questions, feel free to ask me in the middle. We can actually get started and actually show you how any user customer can actually leverage this feature. So I have here, if you're looking at my screen, I have a Glue console. Under that, we on the left hand side, I have a ETL jobs, and I have this job demo job, and I wanted to basically just go walk you through what exactly this job is. Like, think that I'm a data engineer right now, and I've
Mhm.
been given a task to upgrade this job, which is currently being run in Glue 2.0, and I want to upgrade that to, let's say, 5.0, right? So for the time being, for this session, I wanted to save your time. I want to be mindful of everybody's time. So I want to basically try to do this demo as in real time as possible. But also, I want to make sure that I did some run beforehand. In case if we run out of time, I can show you that. So in this case, what I'm doing is I have this job, basically reading some data, and
Mhm.
I'm doing a transform function, right? So transform function in the earlier version of Spark SQL, in the Python SQL or Spark SQL, it used to allow this alias, right? I can actually use my columns, and then I can give alias for the columns, and that was allowed in the previous version of Spark,
Hmm.
specifically Spark 3.1 and earlier, right? So since I'm using Glue 2.0, Glue 2.0 supports that previous version of Spark 3.1 earlier, right? So now this used to run fine. The team had no issues. It was running successfully. I'm using this version. Now I've been tasked to upgrade. So what I do is, like, the upgrade is very easy, right? If I'm like thinking that I've taken care of everything and I don't know how to do anything, because it's just a simple example that I have. So I'll just go ahead and change this version here, and then save, and then I'll just run this job.
Mhm.
Now, during this time, what you see here, the job is running into waiting state, and we keep on refreshing it. It just takes time to allocate the resources at the back end and start running, and you can actually see the duration here, right? The job is running. And during the runtime, we have these logs available. We have this, the CloudWatch logs. It's already enabled for this job, and we can take a look. If there's any issue, any problems, we can always go back and check that. And I'll show you on the CloudWatch logs, how to check for any errors or any failures.
That is awesome. So just to summarize, right, for people who are just joining, we are discussing about how do you modernize your Spark environment, Glue jobs into the latest version using capabilities with generative AI. So in this case, you pretty much try to move to a different flavor of or version of Glue, right?
Yeah.
How often do we, make these versions available? Is there a cadence, or is it like, you have to always get into the latest version, which is recommended most of the time?
I would recommend, yeah, we recommend all the users to upgrade to the latest version, because when we come up with the new latest version of Glue, we are going to deprecate the oldest version. Like, we're not going to deprecate the previous version immediately, but the oldest version, like Glue 2.0, because we already have Glue 5.0, and all those information are actually shared in public with the customers can actually take a look at.
Excellent.
Yeah, so it's always recommended that you switch to the latest version whenever it's available. The primary reason is we have all the bug fixes. You have better performance and cost optimization with the latest version.
Awesome.
So just to add to it, so since Glue uses Apache Spark under the hood, which is a open source framework, so we basically advise our customer or recommend our customers to switch to the new version, just because
Yeah,
the Spark open source community, they release the newer version every 6 to 9 months.
Great.
But for us, like in AWS, the trend is like in a year time span of one year, we release the newer version for Glue, which uses the latest and greatest version of Apache Spark. So it makes total sense
Yeah.
from a latest and greatest perspective. Like, we want our customers to leverage the newest version of Spark so that they can get the maximum benefit what Spark
yeah,
has to offer.
Makes sense.
of course. So Glue is like a wrapper around Spark. Whenever there's a changes, we have that coming up with the Glue as well.
Yeah.
So I just have another question for you, Sabil, while this is running. Like, if we think of capability from a capability perspective, and in order to make our customers understand, like, how does this capability detects, like, for example, in your script, what you showed us earlier, if it's a
Mhm.
100-line script, let's say a PySpark script in this scenario, how does this capability know, like, what all changes it has to do, like, in a layman language for our customers?
Yeah, I can actually tell you exactly how this feature, which is leveraging generative AI, detects the underlying code and configurations, right? So we have this, internally we have this generative AI, basically using Bedrock, and they what it does, as soon as you run this upgrade, it will go through the code line by line, all the configurations, and there's multiple iterations, right? It basically run the job on your behalf, identifies the issues, like the code issues or differences between the Spark versions, and tries to identify, this is where the issue is, I need to change it, and it'll do that for you. And you have the control in going over those summary, because at the end of this upgrade process, it gives you the summary of what it has detected and what it needs to do in order to make it successful, where you get to see that summary and make a decision whether to upgrade or not. I can show you exactly how it is done when I'm doing this right now.
That is
So
awesome. Yeah, we have a question as well from one of the users here. I think everybody is still trying to understand, like, the versions and deprecated version and all. We have a question here from Bobcat. I think if you can bring that question here quickly. There you go. Will I be forced off a deprecated version when it comes to some of the Glue versions?
No, you won't be forced out of deprecated version. We will definitely give time. We give a recommendations. There will be communication going out to all the customers, like, hey, on this date we are
Yeah.
going to get this deprecated. There won't be any support available, but for that particular version. But having said that, for some customers, there will be some extended period of time. That actually depends on the scenario and complexity. But you won't be like locked out of the previous version immediately,
Yeah,
as like, okay, like, there's nothing you can do. That's not going to happen. Yeah.
absolutely.
and
Yeah,
I
we
think,
always. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, just to add, so in terms of any given AWS service, so we do publish the end of life for
Yeah.
any given service or a capability well in advance for our customers, so that they are not caught off guard. So in order for anybody to determine if any given service capability or service itself there is enough life, yeah, those information, everything would be made publicly available well in advance.
Exactly.
Absolutely awesome. And Mohammed touched on Bedrock briefly. I just want to make sure the audience is aware. So Bedrock is our generative AI service. It's not just a set of models. It's a big, massive platform with different capabilities. But the whole capability that you're seeing here is powered by Bedrock behind the scene.
Exactly. Yes. Now I want to go back to our the demo, and you can see that, right? Since we last touched upon,
Yeah.
I've upgraded 5.0, and oops, it failed, right? Um, and you can actually see the error message, like why it failed. Like you can see here, it gives like generic error message, like there's unclassified error. I cannot find. It looks like a syntax error though. Now, how do we find more details about this? I have here the error logs. We can just click on this, and it'll take you to the log stream under CloudWatch, where you can actually deep dive and see what was the root cause of this failure. So you can see here, this error message looks like this, right? There's the error Python traceback, and if I look into more details, it typically says like gives more information, like what was the error message and where it failed, and you can see the syntax error, like it says like there is a syntax error at or near as. If I go back a little bit further, it actually gives you the line where it actually failed. So you see this SQL statement, and the SQL statement, it actually pointed out to this part where it says like, I don't recognize the syntax, right? And this is the reason why the reason why I throw this error is because with the Glue 5.0, which is using Spark version 3.5, we don't have that. So the syntax changes. So that's basically the problem with when you actually migrate to the latest version, right? There may be some break fixes, there may be some changes in the syntax. We need to be aware of that. And when you do it manually, there may be sometimes you may miss some of those syntaxes. We may not even check that, and it's very hard for us to go back and look into each and every documentation. And this is how the feature which I'm going to show you in some time, it can help you identify that changes and fix that problem for you. So now we already know that it's failed. Now I basically can't. I can go back and fix this manually if I want to, but there may be other errors as well, like I mentioned, right? So now, in order to change this now, instead of using this, and if I want to use this new feature, which can save a lot of time for me, I'll basically go back and change this to the previous version, right? Save this. Now I already have I've gone back to the previous version. Now I have options to choose this version, right? To upgrade with AI. Now there's one thing that I wanted to show you. Like if you're already in the latest version, here we switch to this, you save this, and when you look at these actions, you don't see this enabled. Upgrade with AI option will not be available, right? Already in the latest version. So you have to be on the previous version in order for this to show up on the UI console.
Yeah. And Mohammed, I think when you showed that error, when that error happened,
Yeah.
there was an option to troubleshoot using AI as well, right? So that troubleshoot with AI probably is looking at logs seamlessly and then giving you insights pretty easily, right?
So troubleshooting analysis is one more feature, which is using generative AI to look back at the logs. So basically, the troubleshooting analysis does the same thing that what I've done manually.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I've gone into this log and looked into this error log to understand this. But
Right.
this can also be a good feature. Like if you want to know why my job has failed,
Yeah.
you can take a look at this. You can just click on this troubleshooting analysis and give you this root cause, the analysis details. Like it specifically says like, hey, at this point, there's an incorrect syntax as keyword with the transformation. And this is a root cause for this because it looks like it's incompatible with the statement, right? And there's a recommendation here. So recommendations would be like you can actually alternatively you can choose a different motion. So this is actually the solution here, right? You can choose this instead of running this, right? So
Yeah.
this is also helpful in order to troubleshoot this, so that you don't have to manually troubleshoot this issue, from the beginning.
I think it still gives confidence, right? I did my due diligence to do the troubleshooting, and AI is also giving me the same recommendation. Gives me confidence all the time, which is pretty awesome.
Of course, yeah. So we got to know that problem, and now we know we're using this feature also. Like we can actually see this is actually confirmation. Like this is a upgrade issue.
Yeah.
So now there are two ways you can actually fix this problem, right? The error that I encountered, I want to upgrade this job, but I don't want to go over those manual steps of looking at the configurations and code everything all over again. So I can actually click on this job since it's already in the previous version, and I can actually click on this to upgrade this with the UI, or you can go to this job and just click on this. Just repeat this one more time. So you see this using Glue 2.0 version,
That's
and you have
awesome.
this
Yeah.
option to upgrade. So you may also have noticed that I have a certain other Glue jobs which is already on 5.0. That doesn't have that option because it's already in the latest version, right?
Mhm.
So what I'll do is let's click on this, and I'll just go back here and then just click on upgrade with AI option. Now, when you do that, you get to choose what target version you want to go to. So I want to choose like, hey, let's go to 5.0. And it also gives you a path like location. Where do you want to save your upgrade code, right? The
Hmm.
result of the upgrade analysis. And then you get to choose the log stream, log group, and all of that. And then once you set all of this, click on run. And that's it. And you can see that it has started a new job basically on your behalf, and it is currently under the accepted status, and it starts running after that, and it'll do all the analysis. Now, typically, this takes about for this particular job which I run earlier about 8 minutes. We probably can wait, or I can actually show you the previously run job doing the same thing like what I've done. So
Yeah.
you will see, during this whole run, this is where the GenAI comes in. Now GenAI will look into the read all the lines of code, the configurations applied, and then it'll do this come up with this attempted runs. So
Hmm.
attempted runs are basically, you can call it as a test runs where GenAI is actually running this code, and if it encounters an issue, there will be a second attempt. And if there's more issues, like there are more configurations that it encountered that there is a incompatibility, and it was going to do more and more attempts until it finds all the issues and fixes the problem, and gives you the upgraded version of the job. And it does that for up to 10 times. So there will be 10 attempts for test runs.
It
Great.
retries like 10 times.
10
Okay.
times, yes, exactly. And the result will be stored in this upgraded path. And then you can see the summary at the end. So since we already started this, running this job, it's going through all the things. And actually, I can go back and show you one of the job that I've already run previously, and doing the same thing again, the same code. And I have the upgrade job analysis run. And it actually did the analysis in 3 attempts. So you can see these 3 attempts here. And in
Mhm.
3 attempts, it was able to find the difference of the code between the previous version and the latest version. It actually gave the recommendations. It came up with the code changes, recommendations, and now it's waiting for you to review. Now at this state, now you can see this job is succeeded. It means our upgrade, whatever the test that GenAI was doing, is succeeded at
Hmm.
this target version, and it has options, right? It is basically telling you apply upgraded script. But before we do that, I want to know, as a data engineer, since I have control over this, to validate the changes, right? So you can see the summary of this upgrade process here, where when you download this, I've already downloaded this here, and I can show you here. This is basically the summary of the upgrade. So I'll just increase the size so you can see. Let me know if it is visible for you.
Yeah, that looks good. Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it looks good.
Yeah. I'll walk you through what actually happened. So it's basically this file is talking about the analysis result.
Yeah.
I don't think we are able to see the file.
Yeah, we are not seeing the file, still the UI.
Yeah,
Oh, you're able to see. Okay. Okay.
or we can redirect to that, yeah, .md from here directly.
Let's try to do that.
That way, yeah,
Great.
we should be able to see it.
Let's see. Are you able to see?
No,
No, I think it's in your desktop, right? I think you're just sharing the browser window right now.
Yeah. Okay. So let me do one thing. Let me try to share the entire window. That way you can able to see. Okay. So please switch between to my other screen. So this is what I downloaded. This is the validation attempt, the summary of the analysis that the GenAI application actually came up with. Now you can see here with the validation one, where it encountered the problem, like the same issue that we encountered, right? The parse syntax error. And in the second attempt, it basically did the analysis. Okay, so this is the migration rule. In order to make this migration successful, it needs to do this. So you can see the analysis that Jenny gave it to you, right, by looking at the code. So in Spark 3.2, transform operator cannot use, so Spark 3.2 onwards. So this
Yeah.
transform function cannot use alias in inputs, but in Spark 3.1 and earlier, you can write a script transform like select transform as such with this syntax. So this
Mhm.
is how generative AI, basically came up with the root cause, and also it gave you the upgraded version of the code. So you can see this is the original path where the original job actually exists in S3 path. And then you have this updated file path. This is where your upgraded job actually stored. You can download this file and you can look at the upgraded the version, or you can actually see the code difference. It actually give you, you don't even have to do the manual difference as well. So this generative AI will give you that code difference that that you can apply in order to make this successful. So you can see the code difference. It basically removed this part and it added this part. You see the plus sign here? So this is what the generative AI did the changes. And after doing these changes, it actually succeeded. And the analysis results completed, right? Now, if I want to go back and change my screen, let me share my the other window, and I want to show you like how it looks like.
Yeah, while Mohammed is bringing that window, I mean, if you're just joining, we are discussing how do you modernize your Spark jobs into the latest Glue versions using generative AI, which makes life much more easier rather than taking many days and many hours. It can be done within minutes. That's what we are diving deep, and Mohammed is showing the demo of how do you do that seamlessly within the UI.
Perfect. Okay. So now, since we already reviewed, the code, we already know the difference. Now I can confidently go back and just apply this script. It will say like, hey, your original script is here, and that will remain unchanged. So you can always revert if needed. So you can always revert to the previous version of the code if you need it. So
Yeah.
that is one of the other capability that you can use in case if there is something that breaks, maybe the dependency jobs, downstream jobs doesn't like it. You can always go back and make the changes again. So there's always an option.
So essentially, just to add, so as soon as our customers or the users hit that apply button, what it is actually going to do at the job level or at the resource level, it's actually going to change your script path.
Yes.
So it is actually going to flip the path what you have originally defined from previous one to the new one. Basically, the newer script path is actually going to refer to the upgraded script. So just wanted to call that out.
Yes, and you can actually look at here on the script path. This is where it gets updated, and you can always go back and check in the S3 bucket and find the details.
So
But
the
now,
AI created the script and it's just giving the path now, pretty much.
yes, exactly. It's so when AI comes up with the new latest version of the script, which actually succeeds in the latest version of AWS Glue, it will keep a copy of that in the S3 bucket and it changes the path,
Got it.
and it'll do that on behalf of you. You don't even have to do these manual changes. Right now, when you look at this, right, previously, just go back and refresh this page, and we can take a look at the updated script. So as we mentioned, right, this is basically what it came up with. Previously it was showing customer ID as alias, and now but you have this updated the transform code, which actually fixes the problem, and it basically upgraded the job on your behalf. Now you're in the latest version of AWS Glue, and the job succeeded. So that's how
Amazing.
this GenAI can help you in avoiding this manual work going back and forth, and saves you a lot of time, a lot of money in this upgrade operations, which is in the absence of this is very tedious process.
Yeah. I think I have
Amazing.
a generic question as well. So in your experience, right, Mohammed and Ishan, I think you might have faced customers, talking about version upgrades. It takes many days. Can you throw some example of some benefit, like how many hours, how many days that you normally see, right, with this capability?
It depends on, it's a very interesting question, and it also depends on the complexity of the job.
Yeah,
There's no one word answer, like
it
in my
depends. We
case,
like
right?
to say it depends, right?
Yeah, it depends. In my case, it just completed like how many minutes, like you can actually see
Yeah,
it just took me, planning takes some time, right?
yeah,
Because you need to know how many jobs you want to upgrade, what are the impact of these jobs, and you need to obviously your team have to discuss on that and come up with a plan like when you want to do this. It's always advisable that you do this planning and conduct the upgrade operations for few sample records in the lower environment, just to test it out, like, hey, this actually what we wanted and this actually succeeds. And once you do that, like in my case, it was like only 9 minutes I could actually run it right now. But in some scenarios, when you have thousands of lines of code, it might take more than more time, right? So
Yeah.
always have to test this out, run successfully in the lower environment, then you actually do it in production.
Yeah, I think there is no magic bullet as such, depending on what kind of transformations the user or customers had written inside that script. So it
Yeah.
depends on how much complex the logic is, or the business rules, or the transformations. But yeah, I mean, I think from a user experience standpoint, whether it's really medium complex or highly complex, it's not going to basically, you don't, our customers essentially doesn't have to do any sort of guesswork, because imagine in the absence of this feature, you would have to think a lot from a migration perspective. It's as good as you're migrating from point A to point B. In the presence of this feature, it takes away all that guesswork. You
Yeah.
just simply use this feature, click the button, and that's it.
Yes.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
So this is
And
how
one,
it addresses most of the questions, like in the previous the repost. But users are welcome to answer, ask any questions in the
Yeah.
repost.
I,
There's
I,
you
I
will
just
find out.
have a quick question for you, Sabil. So now that we have seen this demonstration from the console perspective, I just want our users and customers to know, like, is this feature available through CLI or like API or SDKs? Like, if, like, let's say if I want to do this programmatically, like imagine if our customers wants to do this in a batch of, let's say, 100 jobs they want to migrate, how would that experience looks like as of today?
I think there is a SDK, there's an API that customers can actually use. We can share the details, separately, and we can programmatically come up with the code and do this, activity for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I
also
don't recall that exact API call right now, but we can share some details later.
got it.
Makes sense. And the AI tries like 10 times, and if it's still not able to come up with, then there is a manual effort that you need to kind of think about, right? That's
So
the
when even usually what happens, like when depending on the complexity, right, it'll able to handle most of the upgrade related issues during that 10 attempts.
yeah,
And then there may be possibility in rare scenarios which I've not encountered right now, but in rare scenario there may be a possibility that we can actually look at some of the failed upgrade operations and see, like, there might be some hallucinations or some gaps where even generative AI couldn't even find the answers.
sure.
It is possible, right? So in that case, you may require some expert level thinking. You can come back, ask questions in the repost, like, hey, my upgrade job, I used this feature, but it did not give me the result that I wanted. It failed even during the 10 attempt. We can actually look at that, and we have experts to actually see what actually happened that generative AI couldn't even answer that question. So
Yeah,
yeah, but most of the times, in the majority of the scenarios, that generative AI, this feature handles most of your questions or most of the issues.
yeah.
Got it.
I think based on the demo that you gave, Mohammed, one thing that really resonates with me and strikes me is like you're still in control, right? That human in the loop aspect. I think when I work with AI, sure, I trust trust AI for a lot of things, but again, if I have control, like I'm still in the loop, right? Human in the loop is a big thing. I think this feature still very much balances that principles, right? You're still in control. You can apply changes. You can review what AI has been discovering, right? That's still there. It's just pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, coming back to answer this question, right? You always need to have control of what AI does, because we're coming from background where we have been doing this activity. We have been we are the experts of this work, and we have been doing all of this, and now we are slowly getting transitioned into a phase where AI can actually help you save the time and money to do this kind of activity, but it always needs a human aspect of evaluation to make sure that you get to choose, you get to ultimately do the decision, not the Gen AI. You can leverage Gen AI for so save your time, all the manual effort that you do, like all the labor work, but
Yeah,
you get to decide, like, whether you want to go ahead with that or no. And that decision ultimately should be with the humans. and
Yeah.
that's what even I prefer, right? It's not just
So
with this feature, but in any Gen AI technology that I use currently, I always have that mindset, like, it's Gen AI, is Gen AI, it's getting evolved, but there has to be human expert evaluation every
yeah,
single.
yeah. I have one more question, and then probably I can turn it over to Ishan because Ishan want to run through a few things as well.
Hmm.
Can you show me that the log that the AI come up with? I just want to make sure I'm clear about that. Okay, so you'll be able to now the one which it gave. Okay, so this is the analysis part, right? That's the log.
So yeah, so this is the CloudWatch log, and you're talking about the log for the troubleshooting, or you're looking at the analysis of the Gen.
Analysis. Yeah, I think this is okay. This is the analysis one.
This
So
is a
one
troubleshooting log. Basically, what you see here manually, it is basically giving you all the details here, right?
correct.
Yeah,
So after you run after you say upgrade using AI, it also generate a log for you, right? Which says, hey,
summary,
this is what I've done so far. This is
summary.
my analysis.
Yeah, I can actually, if you want to look at it, I can show you that screen. I'll have to switch back. Give me
No, I
one.
think I'm good. So that's another set of log that will be available for you to analyze further, right?
Of course, yes, yes.
Got it.
Yeah,
And you
Excellent.
yeah.
can actually look at this upgrade analysis, right? And if I just show you like what are the things that you can take a look at that.
Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Okay,
You can
perfect.
take a look at the result
Yeah.
script. You can look at the upgraded script, the updated summary, and
Hmm.
you also get to see the logs. Like if I just go back here and just show you like an attempt one, right? In an attempt one, it encountered this issue.
Yeah.
So this is very interesting because Gen AI encountered this problem, and now you don't have to do this. Encountered this problem for you, right? Gen AI understand this, and it's like, hey, I got this problem. Now I know what I do need to do because I know what this error means. It'll
Yeah.
do its finding internally and get this solution, in the analysis document that we saw earlier.
Makes sense.
We can
Yeah.
we can always go back and check in the CloudWatch error logs as well. It does the same thing.
Got it.
All right. I think I just wanted to show one thing, Sabil.
Yes,
Uh, I probably will take over the
sure.
screen.
I'll stop sharing now.
Cool. Go for it. But yeah, again, people, if you're just joining, we were discussing how do you upgrade or modernize your Spark jobs, Glue jobs into latest version of Glue using generative AI, which is pretty seamless.
Is everyone able to see my screen?
Not yet.
I
Are you able to share? If you can just share that
Yeah.
screen
Let
with
me
me.
let me give Sabil the link, and then yeah, we can.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So Sabil, if you could flash this URL. So basically, what I'm trying to show is I just wanted to actually show something on a similar lines, which is nothing but our Apache Spark upgrade agent, which is basically an MCP based experience.
Oh,
So
that's wonderful.
while
Yeah,
Sabil is going to share that's his screen based on the URL what I just shared, if as long as we're able to share it, yeah, we should be able to actually talk about it.
yeah. We should
So
be able to bring that up in a second or so.
Yes, give me one moment.
There you go.
so
And if you
essentially.
have
Mhm.
yeah, if you have questions in between, right, please ask. Feel free to ask about questions around this whole concept of upgrading using AI. But yeah, go for it, Ishan.
So essentially, what we have launched during the reInvent in December 2025, as you can see on our screen, we have launched this Apache Spark upgrade agent. So what we have demonstrated so far is the console experience for Amazon Glue, but since we are like trying to actually demonstrate or showcase for the Apache Spark upgrades, it doesn't matter whether you're running on Glue versus, let's say, EMR EC2. So our customers run Spark workloads primarily on, let's say, AWS Glue and Amazon EMR or Amazon EMR on EC2 or serverless. So we have launched this actually feature which caters only for the Amazon EMR. So
Yeah,
using the Apache Spark upgrade agent from an MCP based experience perspective, you can actually use natural language to actually perform upgrades for your Spark workloads running on EMR EC2 or EMR serverless. So if you click on that documentation, Sabil, which is there in the bottom of that page, so basically this documentation gives you a little bit of idea, yeah, if you zoom in a little bit on that diagram. So using the Apache Spark upgrade agent, what you can do is you can use your own MCP clients, for instance, Amazon Q, CLI, or like a Kiro IDE. So even any other IDs, whatever you prefer, as long as you configure the MCP proxy within that
Mm.
configuration file within your IDE, you can actually talk to the MCP server, which is for the Spark upgrade agent. And then you can actually use a natural language to upgrade any of your workloads which are running on Amazon EMR, on EC2 or EMR. So let's say if you have a specific Spark application which is running on EMR, for example, for instance, 6.0, and if you want to upgrade and we have a new version of EMR, let's say 6.5 or maybe 7.0 for an instance, which uses a totally different Spark version. So all you got to do is just connect the MCP server from your IDE, be it a Kiro or any other IDE, whatever you're comfortable with, and you just write it in a natural language. You want to upgrade from this version of EMR to another version of EMR for this Spark application. So if you click on, there is a left on the left hand side using the upgrade agent, Sabil. Uh, so it has a few examples, sample prompts, which our customers can actually using the upgrade agent. Yeah,
Using the upgrade agent.
yeah, that's correct. So if you see, look at the first prompt, it says upgrade my Spark application from EMR version this. So that's all we got to do. And imagine in the absence of this feature, again, it is so tedious to upgrade these workloads from one version of EMR to another. It takes a whole lot of planning and effort from an
Yeah.
engineering perspective. It's not easy. But with the introduction of this Spark upgrade agent, which is a purely an MCP based experience, and that's what our North Star is for AWS, and not just for Glue or EMR, but for all other services. We have launched multiple MCP servers, and our customers love that experience because if even if you're not accustomed to like performing these upgrades technically, you can simply use natural language using your IDs and perform these upgrades.
That totally makes sense. So the feature that Mohammed demoed was very specific to Glue, because Glue is a managed service for, let's say, for example, for Spark, right? But this is if you are hosting Spark on EMR. And Ishan, I have a question around, like, does it support EMR on EKS as well, or is it just
Not today,
yeah?
but it's in the roadmaps. As of
Yeah,
today, we only support EMR, EC2, and serverless.
makes sense. Yeah, but it's very powerful, right? I mean, so we are
100%.
offering both for the Glue part and for EMR on yeah,
Of
EMR
course.
for EC2 and serverless too.
That's correct. Yeah, and the
That's great.
beauty of this feature is, of course, like I mean, it doesn't matter like what kind of applications you're running on Spark, and you
Mhm.
don't have to do any sort of guesswork. And in a matter of seconds or minutes, you can just simply connect your IDE, and as long as the configuration is all defined, you should be able to perform upgrades in a matter of minutes or seconds, depending on how complex the transformations are within the
Yeah.
Spark application.
And the best part is all MCP, right? Because as you said, you can use Kiro CLI or anything for that matter. Even probably because of MCP, you can use Cloud Code. If you're into Cloud Code, you can still use this. If I'm not wrong in that case, right?
Yeah, there is one more URL I just pasted. Sabil, could you just flash it? So I just wanted to show what all tools which are available within the Spark upgrade agent. So there are multiple tools when it comes to the Spark upgrade agent. So there's a list of this 12 tools. If you zoom in a little bit more, so these are the tools which we use under the hood, and you can certainly use any of these selective tools. So the beauty of MCP servers are under the hood, it uses different tools to complete your specific tasks, right? So these are the list of tools you can, depending on what you're trying to do, you can maybe generating some Spark upgrade plan depending on your use case. If you want to check the job status, for example, tool number 7, it's a totally different tool if you want to check what's going on with your Spark application. So depending on your use case, you would basically pick and choose, like this is a tool what you want to use within your IDE, and it will do the job for you like in a matter of fraction of seconds. So you don't have to go like different UIs on the AWS management console. You don't have to figure out what are the CLI commands. All you got to know, like this is the tool, and you just write it in natural language and you should be able to accomplish your task.
It's very powerful. I think going back to your point, Ishan, you were asking Mohammed, right? Is it available as a SDK and CLI? for Glue specifically. So if we are able to interact with, let's say, Kiro to a Glue job, that will be super powerful too, right?
So there is in context to that, there is another MCP server which is data processing server,
Mhm.
MCP.
Yeah,
It doesn't have the capability today to perform Spark upgrades, but it's in the works. So I can't for sure tell the date when that's going to
totally
happen, but
fine. Yeah,
the engineering is definitely working on to make it happen, even for Glue Spark upgrades through MCP.
that is perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
I think
we
it's
were
a good
connecting
point you
dots.
brought it up as well. This is one of the powerful tool. I'm a big fan of this tool as well. So this using MCP, like you can actually run the commands, everything through the command slash natural language, right? You can build your applications. This blog post you can actually go through, and it has step by step details like how you can achieve this.
So the main like use case for the data processing MCP for our users or whoever is looking at this is primarily from a development experience. So in order for our customers to accelerate their development experience, AWS data processing server is the go-to MCP server. Like for example, if you want to like create a brand new Glue job from the scratch, you don't have to use, let's say, or you go on a console, or you don't have to use CLI. All you got to do is put it in a natural language, like this is how you want to define a Glue job, and it would do everything for you. that's
Nice.
that's the that's the benefit, the biggest value proposition we have for AWS data processing MCP server.
Yeah, and there's a small demo here as well, and some sample commands that you can actually run. It also has some demo about using SDK stands to developing this whole agent. So it's a very interesting stuff. I played around with this. It's my favorite. The blog post. So I would recommend anybody who's interested in learning more to go through this.
Yeah, yeah. I think that is awesome. We have got like more than 10 minutes left. So I mean, the audience, if you have questions about anything that we have discussed so far, this is the time for you to ask that question, and we'll be able to answer that question seamlessly here. Wow. I think anything else that you want to cover, Mohammed and Isha? I think it's pretty comprehensive. I love the direction. I think this is where AI really shines, right? I mean,
Yes.
I'm a big fan of like leveraging AI for getting into the latest version of Java, for example. Now with data processing, I think we have great coverage with everything that's coming now.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Great. Cool. Any last minute thoughts? Anything that you want to wrap up?
I think in terms of call to action, we definitely want to share these resources with our customers, be it in the chat or how we want to do it. But for our customers, we would highly encourage do leverage these GenAI capabilities, ranging from Spark upgrades to for Glue or EMR. These are really huge time savers for from an engineering standpoint. In the absence of these features, are definitely customers used to wait like a lot of for maybe a couple of hours or days and whatnot. So we have worked backwards from our customers and really launched these features to make our customers life easier. So definitely encouraged to use these and put it in action.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Awesome. Cool. So to summarize, right, we learned about how do you modernize your Spark Glue jobs with AI. How do you move to the latest version of Glue with AI pretty seamlessly, which is very powerful. I think the most important thing I definitely learned today is you're still in control, right? That human in the loop is still there. You still have ability to review what AI analyzed, and you still can take actions seamlessly, which is very powerful in my mind. Thank you, Ishan, for bringing the aspects around modernizing or leveraging natural language with EMR as well, and EMR serverless. That is something which I learned today, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, I think very powerful features, great demo. Thank you, Ishan and Mohammed, for taking the time. And audience, if you are not familiar with Repost, please head over to repost.aws, sign up using your AWS account ID or builder ID. If you have questions about the show, please ask those questions and we'll be able to address that. We even have a Repost agent, which is an AI agent, which will analyze your question and will answer that seamlessly for you. So we have AI there everywhere to kind of help you move fast and build fast as well. So please head over to Repost and sign up. There is a lot of goodness there. For next week, which is February 17th, 2 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, We have, again, an exciting show around AWS Systems Manager. I like to see Systems Manager as like a Swiss Army knife, which does many things for you. So that's going to be a very interesting topic around AWS Systems Manager. Please join us next week for Repost Live. Until next time, happy building. Thank you, Mohammed and Nishan.
Thank you all.